So if you listen to Dan Campbell's press conference today, he was asked about Jameson Williams. And Jameson Williams, he said he didn't know if they were going to play or not. Now, from what I understood, the way I felt, and I went on a limb, but I didn't go out on a limb. I felt like that he wasn't going to play. And I went last week when he got cleared to practice and said there was no way, definitively, that Jameson Williams was playing tomorrow. Or, I'm sorry, on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Dan Campbell, in his 6-minute press conference today, was asked a few questions, and obviously J-Mo is going to come up. And he said when it came to Romeo and Jameson Williams that he didn't know. What do you mean you don't know? What do you mean you don't know? Now, let me ask you guys in the chat. Shout out to Mr. Poole and everyone else this week that has been saying that Jameson Williams will probably play. How do you not know? How do you not know? Now, earlier this week, Jameson Williams not 100%. He can't cut. They're not showing him. You don't know football. And Dan Campbell, we're less than 48 hours away from the Jacksonville Jaguar game. And Dan Campbell doesn't know if Jameson Williams is going to play? So what does that tell you? What does that mean, Keith? That means that Dan Campbell is conflicted. He's conflicted right now. Dan Campbell is scheming on the Jags, trying to throw them off. Well. Somebody else said that too. That's a good, he get in brothers one day. What, 17? No, it'd be 21 hours. Injury report got to drop by 4. 21 hours to say, shucky ducky. Jameson Williams is taking the field. 100%. We're going to go over to the preview for Sunday, and I could see him doing that because the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is better than ours. Mr. Poole says, I don't buy it. Dan normally has a timeline and a definitive answer, not, I don't know. Mr. Poole, that's what I'm saying. How do you not know? And on top of that, like you said, you're usually very certain if an individual is going to play or not. Now, let's just go over it, shall we? And that's why Gaddy could be on to something, but he's not the only one that said something. I've been hearing that all week long about Dan Campbell scheming because this game is super important. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not a pushover. Their defense is better than ours. This game is super important because the Chicago Bears played the Green Bay Packers. Chicago Bears are 3-8. The Packers are 4-8. Don't let the Packers get a W now. Then they right on our heel. They right on our heels. They right on our heels now. But those teams that were behind us last week are still behind us. But how do you not know less than 48 hours before a game if your rookie wide receiver, who was just cleared to practice last week, okay, which obviously if you're cleared to practice, you're cleared to play. Can I talk this Friday afternoon? But Jameson Williams. Now, I'm going to have to take one on the chin because I said there was no way. There was no way I thought he was going to play. But, I've been on this roller coaster for 7 weeks. Win-Win says, I'm like 80% certain he's going to play. Either undecided or trying to pull one over on Jacksonville. KD, that's what somebody said earlier. Win-Win says he knows. Dan doesn't want him to get hurt so soon. Well, David, you know what? I think that he's fine. I think that it's more of a scheme thing at this point. I think that you guys are onto something because this game is super important. It is the second in a 3-game homestand, right? We play the Minnesota Vikings next week. We cannot overlook the Jacksonville Jaguars, who've won 2 out of their last 3. They can't look over us, who've won 3 out of our last 4. And the Houston Texans, from my calculations, will be eliminated from playoff contention this Sunday. With the loss against the Cleveland Browns, they will have 8 losses and 5 games left. There's no way they can make the playoffs. With a loss or a win by another team, they're done. I brought that up because both of these teams know where they are. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars to be 4-7, we're 4-7. We got a better chance than they do because we're in the NFC. We're like the 10th seed. I think they're a little bit lower. But both of these teams got something to play for. Meaningful football in December. It might only be for 1 or 2 weeks, but hey, we're playing meaningful football in December. Mr. Poole says, I'd be happy with 10 to 15 snaps. Nick says, ESPN injury report says he's out. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I looked at that earlier. But I think the official injury report has to be out by 4 o'clock either today or tomorrow. I always thought it was Friday, but it's weird because just an hour and a half ago, Dan Campbell was undecided. So unless ESPN got that real quick, then it's not official. I don't think it's a scheme because they don't have any film on J-Mo, only his college film. Yeah, that's true, David. That is true. However, they know the brother fast, and they know the damage he can do. Now, let's listen. Let's look at this. Dan Campbell this might be the biggest game, like, seriously, of his career. What I mean by that is this. Jameson Williams may or may not play. We'll know more later. Josh Reynolds, he said, was healthy. DJ Chark is looking forward to facing his old team. DeAndre Swift is not on the injury report. It's a big game. And you at the crib. And you at home. Knowing this game puts you at 5-7 hosting Minnesota, which that game is going to be big. But we got to get past this one first. Mr. Poole says there will be an injury report today, but the deadline for roster moves is tomorrow by 4. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's why. So I might need to start saving my prediction video for Saturdays. But I got to pre-record it because tomorrow I'll be on for college. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think that Jameson Williams will play? I want you to hit P for play or S for sit. Now, I'll put whatever you want in there. Let me know what you think. Will Jameson Williams play Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars?